The growing up event is almost here in Pokemon Go, and this might be one of the best chances to get these shinies. And by the end of this video, you'll know everything the event has to offer and the best tips to help you make the most of it. So the event runs from May 2nd at 10 AM until the 7th at 8 PM local time. But what exactly does it have to offer? Well, for the bonuses, you will get 2 times XP for evolving Pokemon, you'll get 2 times candy from hatching eggs, you'll have an increased chance to hatch shiny Wimpod, you'll have an increased chance to encounter shiny Magikarp, shiny Swablu and shiny Wimpod, and you'll have an increased chance to encounter double XS and double XL Pokemon in the wild. And these aren't the only bonuses. In fact, there are some regional bonuses for trainers in Korea and Japan, which will be active between May 4th at 10 AM until May 5th at 8 PM local time. And these bonuses will be pretty good as well. You'll get a timed research rewarding XP, Stardust, and the lucky egg. You'll be able to complete field research tasks to earn Wimpod candy and encounters with Tandemaus. You can evolve Riolu to get a Lucario that knows the fast attack Force Palm. You'll get 2 times catch Stardust, and you'll get half egg hatch distance when eggs are placed into an incubator during this time period. So be sure to take advantage of these bonuses if you are in Japan or Korea. But now back to the global parts of the event. So there will be event themed field research rewarding event themed encounters, and there is the option of purchasing a $5 timed research that will get you 1 incubator, 15 Pinap berries, 3000 Stardust, encounters with event themed Pokemon including Magikarp, Swablu, Lucario, Wimpod, and Tandemaus, and you'll get an event themed avatar pose. You can also buy this timed research on the web store for the same price, and you will get an extra incubator as well, so worth picking it up from the web store if you want the most value. There will be collection challenges rewarding XP, Stardust, and an encounter with Tandemaus, and there'll be event themed Pokestop showcases to look out for. But what Pokemon will be featuring for this event? Well, in the wild, you will be able to encounter Magikarp, Wailmer, Swablu, Foongus, Dedenne, Cutiefly, Wimpod, Rookidee, and Nimble. And the following Pokemon will be hatching from eggs. In 2km eggs will be Happiny, Riolu, and Wimpod. In 5km eggs will be Mime Jr., and in 10km eggs will be Toxel. And after the event ends, Toxel will still be hatching from 10km eggs. For the raids, in 5-star raids will be Tapu Fini with legacy move Nature's Madness. In mega raids will be Mega Houndoom, and on the 3rd between 2 PM and 5 PM local time will be Mega Kangaskhan for Mega Kangaskhan raid day. In 5-star shadow raids will be Shadow Registeel on the 3rd and Shadow Regirock on the 4th. And in max battles up until the 5th at 6 AM will be Max Charmander, Pidove, Cryogonal, Wooloo, and Phalanx. Then Max Bulbasaur, Machop, Beldum, and Grookey will be taking over. Worth noting as well, like I mentioned before, Mega Kangaskhan will have a raid day during this event on the 3rd between 2 PM and 5 PM local time. And this will offer an increased amount of Mega Kangaskhan raids, a 1 in 10 chance for Kangaskhan to be shiny, you'll get 5 free raid passes, and an increased remote raid limit. This will most likely be the best chance to get shiny Kangaskhan, especially if you live outside of Australia, because Kangaskhan is normally locked to Australia outside of Mega Kangaskhan raids. So there are actually quite a lot of Pokemon featured during this event, but which are the best to focus on? So starting with Magikarp, this one is well worth hunting during the event for a few reasons. Firstly, it will have a boosted chance to be shiny during this event, so it's a good chance to get the shiny family if you want it. Also, evolving Magikarp into Gyarados does cost you 400 candy, so unless you've been playing Pokemon Go for a while, you might still need to do this evolution, or you might just want to evolve a shiny Magikarp for Go Battle League or raid attacking, because it is viable in both aspects of the game. As a raid attacker, Mega Gyarados is the 5th best water type attacker with Waterfall and Hydro Pump, and it's the 6th best dark type attacker with Bite and Crunch. And in Go Battle League, Gyarados is ranked 40 in the Master League, so it is a pretty decent accessible Pokemon for Master League, with most of the higher ranking Pokemon being legendaries or mythicals, whose candy is a lot more difficult to come by. Wailmer will also be spawning, and whilst not meta relevant, it is another 400 candy evolution Pokemon, so worth stocking up on the candy while it's a common spawn. Swablu is spawning in the wild for the event, and whilst Altaria isn't as relevant as it used to be in Go Battle League, Mega Altaria has some relevance in the fact that it can boost attacks and candy gains for Fairy and Dragon type Pokemon at the same time. Now this is rather niche, but there are sometimes Fairy and Dragon type events in Pokemon Go, so having this would be occasionally useful. This again is a 400 evolution Pokemon, so now is a good time to get candy if you haven't evolved one for the Pokedex yet. And just like Magikarp, this Pokemon will have a boosted shiny rate during the event, so if you are a shiny hunter, this could be one for you. Foongus is always worth catching, not for any meta relevance, but because it is a Stardust boosted Pokemon that gives 500 Stardust per catch instead of the normal 100. And if you are going to be hunting Foongus, it could be worth having a Galarian Slowpoke as your buddy, so you can work on the evolution requirement of catching 30 poison type Pokemon to get Galarian Slowbro. We do also have Wimpod, which again is another 400 candy evolution Pokemon, so a good time to build some candy for it, especially as it is in the wild and in 2km eggs. Not only that, but its evolution Golisopod is actually a very relevant Pokemon in Go Battle League. It's ranked 44 in the Great League with 0, 8, 15 IVs, It's ranked 27 in the Ultra League with 114-15 IVs, and it's ranked 57 in the Master League. Galissapod is also a decent budget bug type raid attacker at 18th best with Fury Cutter and X-Scissor, and it's not a bad water type attacker as well at 23rd best with Waterfall and Razor Shell. We do also have Rookidee, and its evolution Corviknight is one of the best Pokemon in the Great and the Ultra League at the moment. It's ranked 12 in the Great League with 0-13-14 IVs, and it's currently ranked 2nd best in the Ultra League with 0-15-15 IVs. Worth noting though, it does want Legacy move Iron Head to be at its best, but either way, this is a good time to pick up Rookidee with some decent PvP IV spreads because it hasn't really been available in the game for long, and since the event it released in, it has been really rare. Nimble's evolution Low Kicks also sees some play in the Great League where it is ranked 141 with 0-14-14 IVs, and in the Ultra League it's ranked 124 with 5-15-15 IVs. Happiny will be hatching from 2km eggs, so a good chance to shiny hunt it. Not only that, the candy for powering up a Blissey for gym defense would be ideal because it is the best gym defender. But perhaps the best use for candy would be Max Blissey, which is a really strong tank and healer for max battles that is well worth investing in because it will be a choice tank and healer for a lot of battles going forward. And perhaps the best hatch from 2km eggs, despite good competition from Wimpod and Happiny, is Riolu. Firstly, it's a good chance to hunt the shiny if you haven't got it yet, but also Mega Lucario is the best fighting type attacker in the game with Force Palm and Aura Sphere, and it's the 16th best steel type attacker with Bullet Punch and Flash Cannon. Force Palm is the best fast attack for Lucario as a fighting type attacker, and it is a legacy move that will require an elite fast TM to get. However, if you are in Korea or Japan during this event at these specific times, you can evolve Riolu into Lucario to get Force Palm, so make sure you do that if you get any good Riolu. Now, Mime Jr. is going to be a target for many because this baby Pokemon is normally exclusive to European eggs, so if you're outside of Europe, it will be a great time to pick up this Pokemon for the Dex and for shiny hunting, because after this event it will go back to being region locked. Worth noting, this is one of the most difficult regional Pokemon to obtain because it is locked to eggs, it's not just a wild catch, so it will most likely require a lot more effort to get when you're traveling. And Toxel will be returning during this event, and it hasn't been available much, if at all, since the Go Wild area last year, so this will be a good time to get a hold of it if you haven't got it yet. Now, its evolution Toxtricity doesn't really have much meta relevance as a raid attacker or in Go Battle League. However, G-Max Toxtricity, if you manage to get it during the Go Wild area, is the best electric type attacker for max battles, so getting candy to power this up and to unlock and power up its max moves will be well worth doing. You can also get an encounter with Tandemaus from the collection challenge and from the paid timed research, and this Pokemon is pretty rare, usually only available in party play challenges, so well worth picking it up, especially as it does have 2 evolved forms, and when you evolve Tandemaus you can only get the family of 3 Mousehold around 1% of the time, so if you do want that form of Mousehold, it will be quite tricky to get unless you're very lucky. And which raids and max battles are most worth focusing on? For 5-star raids we do have Tapu Fini, and it is the 22nd best fairy type attacker with Water Gun and Nature's Madness, which it will have when caught from these raids. And in Go Battle League it's ranked 43 with 113-15 IVs, and it's ranked 66 in the Master League. And Tapu Fini is a water and fairy type, therefore it is weak to poison, grass and electric type attacks. The best counters are Mega Sceptile, Mega Gengar, Shadow Raikou, Kartana, Mega Beedrill, Shadow Electivire, Xurkitree, Mega Manectric, Mega Venusaur and Therian Thundurus. And for budget counters that are generally easier to obtain and to power up, I would recommend Roserade, Electivire, Rillaboom, Meowscarada, Chestnut and Magnezone. I would recommend 3+ trainers to beat this raid, and remember you can encounter Tapu Fini from Go Battle League win rewards if you are ranked 20 or higher. For the Mega Raids, Mega Houndoom will be available, and it's the 15th best fire type attacker with Fire Fang and Flamethrower, and it's the 4th best dark type with Snarl and Foul Play. So if you don't have access to Mega Absol or Mega Tyranitar, then this is a good one to get for a dark type attacker. And it does also have the niche use of being able to boost candy gains and attacks for both dark and fire types at the same time. And Mega Houndoom is a dark and fire type, therefore it is weak to fighting, ground, rock and water type attacks. The best counters are Mega Lucario, Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon, Mega Swampert, Shadow Kyogre, Mega Garchomp, Mega Diancie, Terrakion, Shadow Groudon and Mega Blaziken. And for budget counters, I would recommend Lucario, Primarina, Rhyperior, Greninja, Conkeldurr and Garchomp. For this raid, I would recommend 2+ trainers, and remember to party up to use party power to make the raid easier. It does require 100 Mega Energy to Mega Evolve a Houndoom for the first time, so it will only take 1 raid to get enough energy. And once you have Mega Evolved a Houndoom once before, you can then walk any of your Houndour or Houndoom to get more Mega Energy. For Shadow Registeel, it is relevant in Go Battle League, where it's at its best in the Ultra League, being ranked 78 with 611-15 15 IVs. However, it is better in its non-shadow form, where it's ranked 81 in the Great League with 213-14 IVs and ranked 19 in the Ultra League, so it might just be worth waiting until regular Registeel is available. And for Shadow Regirock, it's ranked 50 in the Ultra League with 614-14 IVs, and it's ranked even higher at 42 in its non-shadow form, and in the Master League, Shadow Regirock is ranked 103 and ranked 87 in its non-shadow form. And briefly for the Max Battle Pokemon, Max Charmander is worth picking up for candy for G-Max Charizard, which is the best fire type attacker for Max Battles. And outside of Max Battles, Mega Charizard Y is the best fire type raid attacker. And Max Bulbasaur is also a good one to pick up for candy for G-Max Venusaur, which is the best grass type attacker for Max Battles currently. And it could be worth getting Machop as well when you see it, so you can get more candy to power up G-Max Machamp when it comes to the game later on this month, because G-Max Machamp will be the best fighting type attacker for Max Battles. And Max Beldum is worth picking up because it is one of the best Pokemon for Max Battles at the moment. It is the best steel type attacker for Max Battles with Bullet Punch. It's also a decent tank with its relatively high defense, and outside of Max Battles, Metagross is the third best steel type attacker, and as a Shadow is the second best steel type attacker and the 10th best psychic type. Metagross does also have a Mega coming at some point in the future, so worth keeping that in mind as well. I would also recommend going for Max Grookey because Max Rillaboom is a good alternative to G-Max Venusaur as a grass type attacker, and G-Max Rillaboom will be the best when it comes to the game, so candy is always worth it for that. Now for whichever Pokemon you do decide to focus on during this event, they will most likely be pretty useless unless you power them up, and for that you do need candy. So here are the best ways to maximize on candy during this event. Firstly, if you are looking to get any of the Pokemon for eggs, which there are some good options, then you will be getting double candy from egg hatches because of the event bonus. Worth mentioning as well that there is a 2x catch candy Furfrou Spotlight Hour on the 6th at 6 PM. And whilst Furfrou isn't very meta relevant, if you are a collector or a shiny hunter, you're probably going to want at least one of each of the Furfrou forms. And form changes do cost 25 candy each, so worth bearing that in mind. Some Furfrou forms are also regional, but worth holding on to some candy so you can do these form changes whenever you get an opportunity to do them. And you never know as well, in the future there might also be events for Furfrou that allow you to get these regional forms globally, so it's always good to keep some candy in case you get a chance to do that. However, if you aren't interested in Furfrou, you could always use a Meltan mystery box or a Gimmighoul coin bag to get 2x catch candy for these Pokemon. And if you don't know how to get the mystery box or the coin bag, I do go through how to get them and some other weird Pokemon to obtain in this video, which will be linked in the description, so check that out if you're interested. And outside of this, in general for the growing up event, I would advise using peanut berries when catching Pokemon, especially 400 candy evolution cost Pokemon like Magikarp, Wailmer, Swablu and Wimpod. And you can always Mega Evolve a Pokemon that shares a type with the Pokemon you're catching to get more candy, Candy XL and XP per catch. But which Pokemon are the best to Mega Evolve? So to get most coverage, I would recommend reverting Kyogre into its primal form, because as it mimics the rainy weather boost, it will boost water, bug and electric types, which will cover 6 out of the 9 wild spawns, being Magikarp, Wailmer, Dedenne, Cutiefly, Wimpod and Nimble. However, if you don't have access to Primal Kyogre, some water type Mega Evolution options could be Blastoise, Swampert, Slowbro or Gyarados, and alternatives for bug could be Mega Beedrill, Pinsir, Heracross or Scizor. And if you wanted candy for Rookidee because of its dominance in Go Battle League, you could Mega Evolve Charizard Y, Pidgeot, Pinsir, Aerodactyl, Salamence or Rayquaza. And remember to pick whichever Pokemon that you do have at the max Mega level to get more candy, XP and chance for Candy XL. It is also worth noting you do get a guaranteed Candy XL per trade this season because of the seasonal bonus, so a good time to be trading and working on your Platinum, Gentleman and Pilot medals. And if you are going to be doing any 5-star raids, I would recommend doing them during Raid Hour, because you will get a guaranteed Rare Candy XL for catching a 5-star raid boss during Raid Hour. This is due to another seasonal bonus. And if you didn't know, Rare Candy XL can be turned into XL candy for any Pokemon of your choice, so a very important item to have. So well worth doing 5-star raids during Raid Hour this season. Doing these raids will also help progress your Rising Star and Battle Legend medals. And Tapu Fini in particular does have a Raid Hour on the last day of this event on the 7th at 6 PM. You will also get more candy by increasing the amount of Pokemon you catch in a given time. So methods like quick catching, having catch assist from a buddy, and utilizing Origin Palkia's Spatial Rent Adventure Effect to increase encounter radius can all help you get more catches. And another option for an adventure effect would be to use White Kyurem's Ice Burn Adventure Effect, because it will increase catch rate of Pokemon by 50%. This is particularly helpful if you're using an auto catcher during the event. And some settings can also help speed up your gameplay and your catching. In the advanced settings, firstly you can turn on Remember Last Used Pokeball. This is especially helpful when you want to use Great or Ultra Balls instead of Pokeballs to catch Pokemon, because it means each time you encounter another Pokemon, you'll bring out a Great or an Ultra Ball at the start of the encounter instead of bringing out a Pokeball every time. This means you won't have to navigate the Pokemon Pokeball menu to change the Pokeball every time. And selecting native refresh rate can also give you smoother gameplay because the refresh rate won't be capped based on the game, it'll be based on your phone. This, however, may drain your battery a little bit quicker. Now, Candy is very useful, but to power up Pokemon you will also need Stardust. And whilst there are no Stardust bonuses for this event, here are some ways to maximize on Stardust. Firstly, Fungus will be a common spawn, and like I mentioned before, it is a Stardust boosted Pokemon, so always worth catching. Worth noting as well, if you do live in Korea or Japan, you will get 2x catch Stardust, so paired with a star piece, you can get some pretty nice Stardust during this event, especially with Fungus spawning. Not only that, but you can always get some Stardust and XP just for taking part in Pokestop showcases. And if you happen to win, you can get some premium items like Lucky Eggs, Star Pieces, and Incubators, which will be very useful. And not only Stardust, you can actually make a lot of XP during this event. So the 2x Evolution XP bonus for this event does give us the opportunity to get a lot of XP using a certain trick. So some Pokemon only require 12 candy to evolve, meaning you can get enough candy to evolve a lot of these Pokemon quite quickly. These are Pokemon like Caterpie, Weedle, Wurmple, etc. So a good strategy is to keep a lot of these Pokemon when you get them and then evolve them during events which offer 2x Evolution XP with a Lucky Egg active. However, to take this even further, there are some Pokemon that don't require any candy to evolve. So Pokemon such as Haunter, Kadabra, Shelmet, Carablast as some examples can be traded to reduce their candy evolution cost to 0. So it's worth mirror trading as many of these as you can and then evolving them all during this event with a Lucky Egg active. And this can really help you level up faster, but when it comes to levels past 40, you do also need to complete some challenges as well as gain XP to progress. And to get to level 49 in particular, you do need 35 platinum medals. And here are some that are worth focusing on during this event in particular. So with the increased chance to hatch shiny Wimpod, the double hatch candy, and some pretty rare Pokemon and eggs, it's a good time to work on your platinum breeder medal. This will be even more worth it if you live in Korea or Japan because you will get a half hatch distance bonus as well. With Magikarp being a common spawn, it's a good chance to work on your platinum Fisher medal, which is a pretty difficult medal to get. And if you can do some evolving to capitalize on the evolution XP bonus, this will help you progress your platinum scientist medal. And the increased chance to encounter double XL and double XS Pokemon mean it will be a good opportunity to work on your tiny and jumbo collector medals. And if you want to know what else is going on in May in Pokemon Go, then I recommend checking out this video on the screen now, and I'll catch you in the next one.